I'm studying her. In this lesson, we are removing the pedestal that you put your goals on, you put certain people on, and you put versions of yourself on. The issue is the moment you put something on a pedestal, your nervous system thinks that it's unattainable. The thing about putting something on a pedestal is that you can take it off. The distance between you and what you want to achieve is in your mind. You've built that pedestal. Some key concepts of this lesson are idealization and dopamine distortion, authority projection, manifestation culture critique, cognitive reframing. Chapter 1, the pedestal effect. The second that you label something as not yours, your brain stops trying. If you think that you can't do something, or that it's just not for you, you're not the kind of person that has that thing, you're not going to be motivated to go and get that thing. When a goal feels out of reach, your brain processes it differently. Neuroscience shows that unrealistic, distant goals reduce concrete planning activation in the prefrontal cortex. What does that mean? They stay as fantasies. Whenever you tell yourself, that can't be me, your brain will agree with you. It shifts from thinking, how will I get there? And it starts thinking, wouldn't that be nice? Imagine if that was us. In another life, maybe. Putting your dreams on a pedestal does not elevate them. It lowers your agency. Chapter 2. Idealization and dopamine. Idealization focuses on the image, not the process. Idealization makes you obsessed with the end result, but it doesn't commit you to a process. When you over-idealize someone or something, your dopamine spikes. You feel inspired when you think about it, but you never actually make any progress towards it. You feel almost like you're in decision paralysis. You won't actually start moving towards it, even though you can't think of anything you want more. This is because when you exaggerate the reward, you're inflating the gap between you and that thing that you want to achieve. For example, if you think that somebody is extraordinary, if you think that they are perfect, what you need to start telling yourself is that they are not as perfect as you think that they are. They might be good at certain things, they might have traits that you want, but if you can narrow down your admiration for them into things that you can actually do yourself, they won't feel so out of reach to you. Is it because they're incredibly self-disciplined? Is it because they're consistent? Is it because they seemingly have everything in order? These are all things that you can do or work towards doing yourself. Chapter 3. Authority projection. The more that you admire people around you, the smaller you feel. Authority projection happens when you assign somebody superiority, talent, destiny. You're actually withdrawing those qualities from yourself. This links to what psychology calls the locus of control. It's believing that power exists outside of you. The more authority you project outward, the more that you tell yourself that people are your idols, the more that you'll believe you're nothing like that. Removing the pedestal is not arrogance, it is reclaiming your authority. Chapter 4. Let's talk about lucky girl syndrome. Belief changes your behavior, but your delusion will avoid it. Lucky girl syndrome is where you believe everything will work out for you, and so it does. This is a very common concept in manifestation. There is actually a psychological explanation for this. Your brain is constantly trying to predict what's going to happen next. It constantly scans for information that proves its point. Your brain is kind of like a narcissist. If you expect rejection, you will notice rejection. If you expect success, you will notice success. This is something that my therapist actually told me, and they said, if I tell you to think of an elephant, what do you think of? Have you ever noticed that once you start thinking about a certain type of car, you see it everywhere? You can even practice this by telling yourself to notice the color red, and you will see a lot more red in the world than you did before. Point proven. If you expect opportunity, you will notice openings. Denial stops you from processing events, and this will build stress. Belief helps. It increases action, it reduces paralysis, and it strengthens your self-trust. It can be harmful when belief replaces effort. You can't just say that you're going to manifest something and then do absolutely nothing to work towards it. So no, you don't need to gaslight yourself, but you can believe in yourself, and you should. Chapter 5, the law of detachment. Detachment works because safety improves performance. The law of detachment isn't a mystical entity. It is neurological. When you obsess over an outcome, when you grip tightly to that goal, your cortisol rises, hypervigilance increases, and cognitive flexibility decreases. When you desire something, you can tell yourself, I acknowledge that I want this, but it does not define me. My worth isn't attached to it. Creating that sense of safety will restore your creativity, your adaptability, and your ability to problem solve. Leap and the nets will appear is not blind faith. It means that your nervous system learns through movement. Self-trust develops after your action and not before. This is why people tell you that if you want to do something, you should just start, and that's so true. It will build your momentum, you'll believe that you can actually do it, and you'll have the dopamine from actually making progress. Instead of thinking, why does that work for them? You need to ask yourself, why is that not possible for me too? Some reflection prompts for this week are: what have you placed on a pedestal? What goals have you actually told yourself are out of your reach? When you think about that, do you feel small or do you feel capable? Are you engaging in cognitive reframing or are you in denial? Now try thinking, what belief would increase my action? What can I tell myself that will motivate me to work towards that goal? Where are you waiting for the right time rather than experimenting? Where could you get started? If you remove that pedestal completely, what would your actionable next step be? And I don't mean plan more. Thank you for listening and learning with me, and I will see you next week.